Hello everybody. Oh, hello everybody, not in the... My name is Ian Miller, you already knew that. I'm hungover, I have a headache, I'm dehydrated, and I wrote and produced this all today, like 4 hours beforehand, so let's just get into it. What are we talking about? We're talking about bad video game music! Bad! Today I'm going to break down what I believe to be the three main categories of bad video game music. First, the so bad that there's really no reasonable way anyone could enjoy this, but usually it was made by somebody who was new to composing or programming. It was early on in their career, give them a fucking break, they had very limited hardware. Two, the bad but like kind of in a good way, like kind of in a so bad it's fun, you know, kind of like a schlocky B-movie type energy. And third, Sonic. Let's start off with a little bit of background history about video game music and the technology that they were working with when first iterations of consoles started coming around. We can just skip the Atari 2600, the 5200, let's just jump right into the Nintendo. Everyone knows Nintendo. Everyone likes Nintendo. Nintendo Entertainment System. This bad bitch had an RP2A03 CPU with an integrated sound chip, or a PSG, made by this guy, Yukio Kaneoka. The base NES PSG had a 4-channel system and a PCM channel for basic audio sampling, seen here. 2 of the 4 main audio channels were variable pulse waves, meaning like those would be like usually the 2 main melody tracks, and the third was a triangle wave, often beefier and chunkier sounding, used for like bass or humming kind of low drumming sounds. Not to be confused with the 4th channel though, noise channel, which is often used for percussion or drums. You get the picture, it's a very simple system. It might not surprise you that these are very limiting constraints for anyone to make music out of, let alone, you know, early adopters of programming, you know, coders, whoever's making, you know, those games for, you know, the rinky-dink consoles back then. So it might not surprise you either that like early 80s games and, you know, 90s games were often made by a handful of guys that looked like this. Now I'm just gonna skip that part. Let's go into some examples of music that's bad but not really that bad, or as bad as it could be, because they're trying their hardest, damn it, and it's usually like their first composing gig out of like college or high school or So let's start off with 1942 by Ayako Mori. So unlike kind of what I was talking about by how composers had, like, it was a role that was just kind of passed off to like whatever programmer was available. That actually isn't the case for most of the examples I have here today, but just keep in mind that the majority of early games had no dedicated composer. It was just some programmer guy that had to mess with a bunch of audio channels and figure something out. What's funny about Ayako Mori is that she also composed like other popular tracks and produced other popular tracks for like games like Ghosts and Goblins, which was pretty popular for the time. I mean, you can just hear this song. It's bad. It sounds kind of like an SOS chat with a drum beat behind it. You know, kind of in that what's it called? A Morse code. You know, the boop, boop, boop. It's bad. It's a fun one though. I'm gonna hold on one sec. She went on to have a pretty great career, like being the art coordinator for Resident Evil 2. And, what is it, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or version of Street Fighter 3. But more on Resident Evil later. Tease. Next song, Spider-Man for the Genesis, specifically the Funhouse song, by Fletcher Beasley. This is a goofy track, and it's one of his first compositions. Good for him. What else did he make? Hold on, let me see what else he made. So it turns out, Fletcher Beasley was also, like, the composer for wait, what was the game? So it also turns out that Fletcher Beasley was also the composer for Barbie's Digital Makeover, and his latest credit was being the audio executive for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Go Fletcher. Okay, next track. Chess Master for the Super Nintendo specifically, because this is the track we're listening to right now. Chess Master had like a ton of different iterations across like many different consoles and computers. I'm not gonna list them all. I don't really care. This track is kind of fun because it's bad, and it's made by either David. I mean, like, it doesn't list it online who made it, but it's either composed by David Kittinger, Kathe Sprachlin, Dan Sprachlin. Oh, they must be like brothers or lovers. And Johann de Koenig. So now we're going to move on to Wayne's World on the SNES. Pretty ironic that Wayne's World, a movie about, like, music and the love of music, I don't know, I've never seen it, has a pretty dog-ass soundtrack. This is what we're listening to, I believe, a medley of Bohemian Rhapsody, composed in chiptune, and it was either made by Paul Wilkinson, Rob Wallace, or Peter Stone, so it was one of those guys. Give me a break. Alright, let's move on to the category, the so bad, but it's actually kind of great. Not gonna lie, it's actually kind of great. Okay, so we're gonna start off with Cruising USA. This song is great because it's just a guy saying cruising and yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, over and over again. Also, the composer Vincent Pontarelli also composed a lot of music for games, and like after this, like a lot of Mortal Kombat games. You know, Shaolin Monks. Anyone here play Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks? I did. I played it with my dad. Whoa! Okay, so the next one, this one's really fun. The Final Fantasy 13-2. This is the Chocobo song. What it plays when you ride a chocobo. So the composer apparently was really depressed after the initial reception of this song, saying that he loved the series and wanted to meld his passion with metal music and Final Fantasy, but to critical and commercial disdain, unfortunately for him. And I think that now, after 11 to 15 years, Full Circle, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Resident Evil 1 Director's Cut, Basement theme. You're listening to it now. What the hell happened here? Great question. Well, it's a tale of a fraudster musician dubbed the Japanese Beethoven, named, and I'm sorry if I'm gonna butcher his name, but it's Mamoru Samuragochi, or Samuragochi, whose conductor, Takashi Niigaki, who was actually ghostwriting for him the whole time, and it turns out Mamoru wasn't even deaf. He was pretending to be deaf the whole time, just so that he could get the, like, Japanese Beethoven status. Really fucking crazy. But that's not all. Like, that doesn't explain, like, why the music would be this bad, because the rest of the soundtrack is normal, and he had an illustrious career, like, where people thought he was a great composer. Turns out that was Takashi the whole time. There's theories that for that one track, it was actually Mamoru composing that one, and that's why it stands out, or it was an error with like MIDI note compilation for the DualShock version of Resident Evil 1. So like they like ported it or redid some code stuff, and like the people who ported the code could be responsible for that. But anyway, it sounds like this, and it's great. It's a terrible song. It's so bad. Alright, and now we get to the most fun category, Sonic. So, if you're unaware, Sonic is cringe in so many regards. And there are actually objectively some banger tracks in Sonic games, but Sonic is also equally notorious for some truly horrific tracks. And also, like, you know, some weird ties that maybe don't hold up exactly nowadays. Here's Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood, Central City. I didn't care to look up who composed this. I don't know, I'm getting tired. I'm running out of time to make all this before, you know, you have to meet up and everything. So, anyway, that's bad. Oh, what's that? What's that I hear? Is that the 2006 3D reboot of Sonic the Hedgehog I hear, called Sonic the Hedgehog, i.e. Sonic 2006, and that theme is his world? This shit fucking goes so hard. Bad? I'm lacking the vocabulary to express what makes each of these things so bad, and if maybe I hadn't procrastinated till the last day, I could have come up with something. But, you know, we keep going forward. Also, did you know that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 soundtrack for the Sega Genesis was most likely partially composed by Michael Jackson, who definitely confirmed worked on the game, but is unconfirmed whether his contributions were actually included in the game or not. But there are distinct samples that sound like they were his, so that's kind of fun. Also, Sonic Heroes. Pretty unbearable. So Sonic has just like a long lineage of juvenalian cringe soundtracks, like imagining like what a 12-year-old would think is like really cool and badass, but then like you get 1 or 2 years older and realize it's kind of not, or you still think it's badass. I saved the best, I think, for last, which is Crazy Bus. So if you haven't heard of Crazy Bus, it's pirated / unofficial game, I believe released for the Sega Genesis in 2004, and it sounds like this. And apparently, all of those notes were just like randomly generated. If you want to go more in depth on Crazy Bus and everything that contributed to its like development, you can go to this article right here. You can't click this link because this is a video. Thank you everyone for paying attention to my PowerPoint. I had a lot of fun making this, I'm assuming, because I still have to actually compile this together. Okay, bye.